Welcome back to the Anfield Exchange, and tomorrow it's Liverpool versus Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and it's a must-win game. It really is a must-win game. Liverpool's performances in the last two games have been nothing short of shambolic, naive, I would say. It looks like these players, for the last two games, it's the first time we've played with each other. And granted, it is quite a fresh squad, it is a new squad, and I understand the concept that these players need time to bed in and get used to playing with each other. But unfortunately, as a manager of Liverpool, you haven't got time on your side to allow that to happen. We saw it numerous times under Jurgen Klopp with Fabinho, Andy Robertson. I don't think either of those players played in the first 4 or 5 months of signing for Liverpool because they needed to become accustomed to the Premier League, they needed to become accustomed to Liverpool as a football club, and they had to become accustomed to the teammates. And at the minute, we've thrown all these new players in, it's not working, and how long do we wait for it to start working? How long do we wait for these players to start gelling, to start putting in the sort of performances that merit the money we've spent on the players? And it's not just the new signings either. I don't want to focus too much on individuals in this video. It's the older players as well that aren't performing. So there's something just off at Liverpool at the minute. I'm hoping this is going to be the game where Liverpool bounce back. I think we're probably playing Chelsea at the best time possible. And I know we haven't had the best results away to Chelsea in recent years. But like I say, I think this is probably the best time we can face Chelsea this season. In terms of recent form, obviously Galatasaray and Crystal Palace are the two that have been very much talked about. Not easy places to go. I will say that Selhurst Park. There's going to be teams that go to Selhurst Park this year and don't pick up the 3 points, just like Liverpool never. And obviously Galatasaray. It's always difficult to go away to Turkey in the Champions League. Galatasaray did a number on us basically, and we looked like we could have played another 90 minutes on top of what we did, and we still wouldn't have scored. But the importance of this Chelsea game, obviously it's international break after the game, and Liverpool don't want to go into the international break off the back of 3 defeats. That's just something that can't happen. But it's not so much about the final score for this game for me. I think a draw away to Chelsea will probably be a lot better of a result. A result that, yes, it's not ideal, but one that we will probably take going into the game. Because Arsenal are at home to West Ham. Yes, they've got a new manager in Nuno, and I think that's a straightforward victory for Arsenal. I don't see the personnel at West Ham. I think Nuno's probably going to need some time to get that team clicking. Probably going to need some money to spend. So I think it's an easy 3 points for Arsenal this weekend. So we need to make sure that we still go into this international break at the top of the Premier League table, which we currently are. In terms of the performances, like I say, I don't want to go into individuals, but I want to just touch upon why it's not working at the minute. And like I say, I think there's a lot of players that were here last season that aren't performing. I think the new players are obviously needing time to bed in. I'm torn. I'm torn between the concept of reverting back to what worked last year, despite that not being the long-term plan for Liverpool. So I'm going to use this as an example. I'm not criticising here. Obviously, Florian Wirtz hasn't had the start we all expected him to have. I don't think he's been as bad as what some people are saying by any stretch of the imagination. But Florian Wirtz is obviously the long-term plan for Liverpool. Florian Wirtz is going to be a first-team player for the next 5 years. So I think you can drop Florian Wirtz without it having too much meaning. But equally, you want to try and play him through this, and you want to try and get his confidence up, because he is the end goal. He is the long-term objective here. He is a long-term plan to play him in that team. So it wouldn't make sense to drop him for the sake of reverting back to what we know. But equally, I think he can be afforded time, not in the first team, to get himself up to speed and to build his confidence up as well. So I'm going to go into the starting lineup now, and this week I'm going to go through a starting lineup that I think Arne Slot should choose, not necessarily the starting lineup that I think he will choose. So obviously in goal, we've got one option. It's Mohamedashvili. Obviously Alisson's picked up his 6-week injury. It's been announced. So he'll be back after the November international break. So yeah, Mohamedashvili's in goal. Now defence for me, I'm torn here. Obviously Van Dijk is clearly the starter. I would be happy to go Robert left back. I think Andy Robertson, he's experienced. He's obviously settled. He's a mainstay within Liverpool, not just in the first team squad, but around the dressing room as well. So I would be happy to go for Andy Robertson here based on the form of Kirkes. On the other flank, I would also go for Conor Bradley as well. I think he gives us more in general, defensively and defensively, whereas I think Frimpong is more of an offensive right back and doesn't give us too much defensively. And what surprised me when we signed him were actually how small he is. I think he struggles to win headers. He's ambitious and he goes for them and he does challenge for them, but his height is a massive, massive disadvantage. So yeah, this one I'm going Conor Bradley, and I'm torn. I'm torn at centre back if I'm honest. Obviously Van Dijk and Konate have been the mainstays this season. Konate has had a shocking start to the season. Joe Gomez didn't play well against Southampton, but I think he is one of those players that plays a lot better alongside Van Dijk. I would actually play Joe Gomez here, not because I think he's better than Konate, but more to show some of these players need to know that they're not guaranteed this football, because if you pick Konate again, for example, in this game, where's the consequences of his poor performances? They're on. So I'm going to go Gomez in this game. The risk with that is if Gomez picks up an injury, we've got Leone that's injured. We didn't get the deal for Guehi over the line. You're then stuck with Konate and Van Dijk. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the centre-back positions. But yeah, for this one, I'm going Gomez. Midfield, again, similar issues. We've got McAllister that seems to be off it. Florian Wirtz hasn't had the start we would have all expected. So for the double pivot in this game, I'm going to start with Gravenberch. I think that's a no-brainer. He's the first name on the team sheet, probably after Van Dijk and Alisson if he's available. And I'm going to go Curtis Jones next to him. I think, listen, the bar was set very low against Galatasaray, but I do think he was our best player on the pitch. And I think Curtis Jones hasn't let us down this season. I know there's a lot of people out there who are not big fans of Curtis Jones. I'm not one of those. I like Curtis Jones. I think he's a brilliant, brilliant player. And I think his performances merit the start against Chelsea at the weekend. And if you remember to the last time we played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, I thought Curtis Jones, I think he got man of the match. He was brilliant against Chelsea. So, yeah, I'm going Curtis Jones, and I'm pretty convinced that's how Arne Slot will go as well. And in front of them, I'm going to go for Szoboszlai, and there's a reason I'm going to go for Szoboszlai. It's not just because Florian Wirtz hasn't performed. It's more tactical than that. And part of that is Salah's lack of tracking back could be a problem for a left back like Cucurella, who likes to get forward. And you can't leave Conor Bradley 2-on-1 on that left-hand side. For me, Szoboszlai, last season we saw him do so much of Mo Salah's running, and I think we need that from him in this game as well, because Cucurella will see that Salah's not tracking back and he will bomb forward. So for me, I'm going Szoboszlai there, and I'm asking him to do that workman-like midfield job where he can do the running for Mo Salah and allow Mo Salah to just sit up top, try and get the ball and try and create something. Like I say, Salah's going to be on the right. I think it's a no-brainer that Isak's going to start this game. I think Ekatike may be available. We'll know more in Arne Slot's press conference, which obviously at the time of recording this hasn't happened. But I think Isak will start, and I think he's a preferred choice for Arne Slot as well. And I would love to see Chiesa on that left-hand side, but I just don't see any world where it happens. I think it's going to be Gakpo. But yeah, I think Chiesa, again, a little bit unfair, but I think he deserves more minutes than what he's getting. But yeah, I think he's going to go Cody Gakpo on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side as well. My issue with Cody Gakpo is, look, I'm not saying he's played badly. He's had performances where he probably could have played a little bit better. My issue with Cody Gakpo is he's too predictable. And I think this is why we miss Luis Diaz, because you never knew what Luis Diaz was going to do. And he was such a good winger who would help track back and help the left back as well. Whereas I think Cody Gakpo is a little bit lacking in that department. But yeah, I mean, when Cody Gakpo gets the ball out on the left, we all know what he's trying to do. The defenders know what he's trying to do. Now, being predictable and the defenders trying to stop that are two completely different things. But yeah, I'd like to see something different tried on that left-hand side. I don't think it would be Rio. But yeah, hopefully Chiesa can get... I'm tired. I'm tired. Hopefully Chiesa can get the run out that I think he deserves, and he's not going to drop Salah for that. In terms of the key areas, I want to touch on the key areas, and I touched on very little bit where one potentially is, and I think it's that left-back situation for Chelsea. Cucurella versus Salah. Obviously, we know Cucurella likes to get forward and Salah doesn't like to get back. So Bosley needs to be the counter for this. I think we could have some serious problems if Florian Wirtz plays that number 10 position, because as we know, he likes to drift out to the left. It's going to leave so much space for Cucurella to get into in that position if Salah's being instructed, as he has been all season, not to track back. And he was instructed last season as well, which, to be honest, is part of why Mo Salah did so well last season. I think another big sort of key area for this game will be Alexander Isak and whoever he comes up against, because we've got the luxury in this game. Colwell's injured, Fofana's injured, Chalobah is suspended, so that only really leaves Badiashile and Jorel Hato. Now, I think Jorel Hato's had a slow start to his Chelsea career, and I'm not a fan of Badiashile. I don't think he's good enough. So I think if that is a starting centre-back pairing for Chelsea tomorrow, I think Alexander Isak can really get some joy in this game. So I think that's another part of where this game can be won and lost. In terms of a midfield, like I say, I'm going for Jones, I'm going for Gravenberch, I'm going for Szoboszlai. I just think that midfield, again, this could be an area where we can win this game if we can get on the ball and keep the ball and dominate the midfield. Because listen, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez are very, very good midfielders, but Cole Palmer's missing. I think we played Buonanete, however you pronounce that name. We played him in the last game, and that doesn't strike the same fear that Cole Palmer strikes into the opposition's eyes. I think that's a midfield we can get on top of, and if we can get on top of that and we can get the Salah Cucurella situation right, I think we could be in for a good performance, and we could be in for something special from Alexander Isak tomorrow. I think Cole Palmer is going to be a massive miss for Chelsea. He's by far the best player, and it's fantastic. I don't wish injury on anyone, but it's fantastic that he's missing for this game. It's fantastic that he doesn't get to dictate play, because I think he is obviously the most dangerous asset that Chelsea have. So yeah, it's fantastic that Cole Palmer is not going to be available against us. And this is what I mean when I say it's the perfect time to play Chelsea. They've got suspensions, they've got injuries to key players. It really is. We're not going to get a better opportunity than this away to Stamford Bridge, and we need to capitalise on that. We need to take this opportunity, and we need to walk away from Stamford Bridge with 3 points, but more importantly, a convincing performance. I think we're going to win tomorrow. I genuinely believe that. I think the lads will. We won't see a performance like we did at Selhurst Park. We won't see a performance like we did against Galatasaray. And I think a big part of that is that Chelsea will come on to us. I think we've played a lot of teams this year that haven't done that. And I think Chelsea are not going to play that way. They're not going to play with a low block. They're not going to try and counter-attack. They're going to try and be on the front foot, and they're going to try and take the game to Liverpool. I think that will work in our advantage, and it will play in our advantage. In terms of a score prediction, I'm going for a decent one. I'm going for a big one. I'm going for a 3-1 win to Liverpool. We've still got defensive issues from set pieces and counter-attacks. I think Chelsea will probably score, but I do think we'll outclass Chelsea tomorrow. I do think it'll be a turning point. I do think it will could potentially be our best performance of the season and our biggest performance as well of the season at the best time, at the right time. I'm also going for Mo Salah to get on the score sheet tomorrow from open play. I think Mo Salah's going to get on the score sheet. I'm hoping to see a big performance from him because, again, he's another one whose performances haven't really been to the expected level this season. So, listen, I'm being optimistic. I think we're gonna turn things around in this game. We're gonna go away for the international break and we're gonna come back revitalised and we're gonna see the real Liverpool. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your score predictions. Let me know how you think the game's going to pan out. Do you disagree with anything I'm saying? Would you start Florian Wirtz? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.